and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Well, Joe Girardi brings his Phillies into the Bronx, where he managed for 10 years, and a couple of those years he managed this guy, who was about as hot as anyone in baseball, and his former teammate, Didi Gregorius, gets a look from the other side. And it is time for baseball, as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. And tonight, it's the New York Yankees against the Philadelphia Phillies in the first game of what is now a one-game set here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball. I'm Michael Kay. We'll be joined in a second by David Cohn. The Yankees are on fire right now. They've won 7 of their 8 games. A 7-1 record is the best record in baseball, and one of the reasons why is because of Aaron Judge. He has just been on fire. David, you don't get much hotter than this.
Yeah, don't step away from the television. If you're on your sofa at home, don't go to the fridge, don't go to the bathroom. You do not want to miss this guy's at-bats. That's how good he's going. That's how hot he is. Even opposing teams are becoming fans of him, Michael.
All right, let's take a look now at the 2 homers from yesterday. We'll take a look at the exit velocity presented by Spectrum Mobile. Go to spectrummobile.com today.
Yeah, I mean, when this guy is swinging the bat like this and getting good pitches to hit, don't hang a slider there, because he's pulling the ball this year. As you remember last year, that was a bit of an issue as he went the other way with a lot of his homers, but he is a complete hitter this year, fully healthy. And how about this projected distance? About 468 feet away, bouncing around in the bleachers and ricocheting back on the field. As I said before, even the opposing players on the field are looking at the scoreboard to see the exit velocity.
Early verdict, indeed. Take a look at this. 5 straight games with a home run, tied for the 4th longest streak in Yankee history. 6 home runs through 8 games, tied for the most in Yankee history with A-Rod, who did it in 2007. And check this out, 5 go-ahead home runs in the first 8 games. The first player in Major League history to do that. The first. That's how hot this guy is. Also hot is Gerrit Cole. How do you stop this guy? Joe Girardi has some thoughts. Meredith Morakovitz will be back with us in just a moment when we return right here on Yes.
Bronx, I'm Meredith Morakovitz. The Phillies have not played a game since Sunday, July 26th. And while they have worked out the last few days, there is no substitute for in-game at-bats. That brings us to tonight. They are going to have their work cut out for them facing Gerrit Cole. I asked manager Joe Girardi what the key will be against a guy who has not lost a game since May of last year.
He has been a tough task for every team since like May 15th last year. When you look at what he's done, he's been on a remarkable run. So, you know, you just hope that he has an off night and we really have an on night. I mean, that's kind of what you hope. And we know that he's as good as anyone in baseball. But, you know, I like our hitters and I like the way they approach things. And let's just see what happens.
You wonder if Gerrit Cole is going to be even more amped up tonight as well. He had said when he signed it was always a dream to be a New York Yankee. Tonight, he makes his first start in pinstripes in the Bronx. Should be a good one. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. When we return, Michael Kay will be joined by David Cohn and Paul O'Neill. First pitch coming your way after the break.
In part by Spectrum Mobile. Spectrum Mobile has unlimited talk, text, and data. Go to spectrummobile.com today. By Burke Rehabilitation Hospital, a member of the Montefiore Health System, where you can safely resume your rehabilitation program in the Bronx and Westchester. By your local Volvo dealers. And by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play. Well, that's what they're about to do at the stadium. The Yankees have taken the field. Gerrit Cole, first time wearing pinstripes, is on the mound, and he'll face this Phillies starting lineup. Andrew McCutchen in left field will lead off, batting second. First baseman Rhys Hoskins. Bryce Harper in right field will hit third. Cleaning up, the catcher JT Realmuto. Didi Gregorius, former Yankee, the shortstop, will bat in the number 5 hole. Batting sixth and playing third base, Gene Segura. Jay Bruce, the DH, will bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing second base, it's Scott Kingery. And Adam Hazley is in center field, and he is going to bat ninth. And we know who he's going to face. They were all going to face that man, David.
Yes, Gerrit Cole going to make his 195th career start. But as Michael said, this is the first one in pinstripes, towing that slab and the boogie down. So welcome to the Bronx, Gerrit Cole, and his season has been good so far. His career has been great, and I think the Yankees feel really good about this guy at the top of their rotation moving forward for the next several years.
All right, let's take a look at the defense behind him. It's presented by Geico. You've got Gardner in left, Hicks in center, and Judge over and right. In the infield, it's Urshela Wade, just a day off for Torres at short. LeMahieu's at second, Ford's at first, Sanchez behind the plate, and Gerrit Cole is on the mound. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. It's kind of hot and humid, that's for sure. It's 86 degrees, not much wind, 53% humidity, intermittent clouds. Now tomorrow is supposed to be such bad weather, the Yankees and the Phillies have already postponed their game. So there will be a doubleheader in Philly on Wednesday where the Yankees will be the home team in one of those games. And our coverage starts at 3. The first game will start at 4. We'll have the whole day for you. All right, so you're all set, right? Let's do this right here in the Bronx. Andrew McCutchen is ready. Gerrit Cole is ready. First pitch is swung on and popped up. Judge makes the play, 1 pitch, 1 out. And coming to us live from the basement in Ohio, Paul O'Neill back with us. Hello, Paul.
We are back at it again, man. It's just becoming a regular thing here. It's kind of fun to see baseball on the field every day.
So 1 pitch, 1 out, a pitcher's dream, and here is Rhys Hoskins. Shift is on, and the first pitch is a strike. The home plate umpire is Nick Lentz. The crew chief is Angel Hernandez. He's at first. Dan Bellino at second, and Will Little is over at third. The Phillies have not played in 8 days since July 26th. So it's tough for baseball players who are creatures of habit to make it work. Ground ball, third base, fielded by Urshela. Throw to first. Oh, what a play by Urshela for the second out.
Kenji Urshela, not only a great hitter, but he got to the big leagues because he could make plays like this. One of the better third basemen defensively in all of baseball, and is becoming a complete player. What a play.
Had to tiptoe around the third base bag as well. Great hands.
He's been showing off the last couple of days.
Not only the hands, it's, you know, being able to make an accurate throw with your body going towards the opposing dugout. I mean, it's just, it's not as easy as it looks on TV, believe me.
Bryce Harper swings at the first pitch and skies it toward the left side. Giving chase is Gardner, and he runs out of room. Now, you all know why the Phillies haven't played in that long. Remember, the Marlins were playing the Phillies. The Marlins had all those positive tests. Then Phillies had a couple, but they have not tested positive since then. So they are back on the field today. And after having 8 days off, they'll be off again tomorrow because of the rain. And then right into a doubleheader. The Yankees actually have 2 doubleheaders this week. They have one in St. Pete against the Rays, and then one on Wednesday against the Phils.
7-inning doubleheaders aren't looking so bad now, huh, Michael?
No, they're okay.
They're okay right now with you, right? What say you, O'Neill?
You know what? I'm all for it at this point. You're trying to get through games, and Coney, you know as well as I do with the extra pool of play. You know, the Yankees are probably going to have to add some pitching here or there, you know, to get through doubleheaders. The rosters are going to be kind of manipulated also.
Just underway here at the stadium. 2 down against Cole. Bryce Harper at the plate. 2-2 count. Cole, the top free agent signing during the offseason, and Harper, the previous offseason. He's in his second year with the Phils. 2-2. Tipped into the glove of Sanchez, an impressive 1-2-3 inning. Just 10 pitches for Gerrit Cole as the Phillies go down in order. It's Philadelphia nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Oh yeah, the verdict is he is hot. The Judge man is hot. Can't be hotter than he has been, and we'll see him in just a moment. But first, take a look at the Yankees starting lineup. Yankees are 7-1, the best record in baseball. They'll lead off their second baseman, DJ LeMahieu. Aaron Judge in right field bats second. Aaron Hicks in center. Giancarlo Stanton will clean up. Mike Ford, the first baseman, bats fifth, batting sixth. Gio Urshela, he plays third. Gary Sanchez trying to get on track. He's catching and batting seventh. Batting eighth, the left fielder, Brett Gardner, and Tyler Wade, the shortstop, will bat ninth. And David, they're going to be facing a Cy Young Award winner from the past, so a battle of Cy Young Award winners.
Yeah, veteran Jake Arrieta. This will be his 247th career start in the big leagues, and you see his numbers from last year as tonight is his season debut, and a little bit of a mixed bag for him. He's not used to getting banged around a little bit, and you see the strikeouts are down, walks up just a bit, but he still has tremendous movement on his pitches, and at any given time can shut down just about any offense.
So he is making his 2020 debut on August 3rd, and that's with all the postponements the Phillies have had over 8 days. Here's LeMahieu, who had the big game-tying hit right before Judge's game-winning home run yesterday against the Red Sox. LeMahieu off to a great start.
That big inning. Sorry, Michael, that, LeMahieu comes up with the big hit, but you had a big stolen base before that, and then obviously the big home run by Judge. But, a stolen base and then a big base hit. That's the way you tie a game and give you an offense and an opportunity to hit that big home and go home with a win.
12 for 36 so far this year, a home run and 4 ribbies. And the 3-1. 3-2. Well, we know that Cole has an 18-game winning streak. Arrieta is the owner of a 20-game, not an active one, but he had a 20-game winning streak while with the Cubs. High fly ball, deep right field. Harper back, track, wall, see ya. A home run for LeMahieu. And the hits just keep on coming for the Yankees. It is 1-0.
Well, you're looking at a great team that's hot right now, too, and that's even double trouble for the Phillies. And LeMahieu, as he did in Baltimore the other night, leadoff home run. Yanks on, but again, his style of hitting is going to play anywhere. Hit the ball where it's pitched. Arrieta gets his ball up in the zone. He's a sinker ball pitcher once it down. You watch LeMahieu. Does not commit to anything. Ball stays up. Boom, home run to right.
And that'll bring up Aaron Judge. Has homered in 5 straight games. Has 6 home runs during that time. With the home run, the Yankees have now had 33 runs scored via the home run this year. Lined into center field. It is a base hit. Boy, hit that hard, but didn't get any lift, so a single to center field. Let's take a look at the Phillies defense, which is presented by Geico. McCutchen in left. Hazley is in center, and Harper over in right. In the infield, it's Segura, Gregorius, Kingery, Hoskins, that's third to first, Real Muto behind the plate, and Arrieta is on the mound. So here's Aaron Hicks as Hoskins holds on Judge at first. David, did you find it a little curious yesterday that at 2-0 they did not pitch around Judge, especially because Torres has been struggling and he was up next?
Yeah, I think it's really a question of trusting your pitcher on the mound. Sometimes you can, if you have trust in that pitcher, then maybe he can entice the hitter to chase out of the zone. But I certainly wouldn't give in that spot, especially to a hot hitter like Judge.
And if you look at the pitch there, Coney, I mean, it was a slider, and a 2-0 slider. He's trying to fool him, and when you try to make that perfect slider, a lot of times you hang it, which he did.
They get one. That's all they'll get as Hicks reaches first on the 4-6 force. All right, it's time now for tonight's Keys to the Game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers, and we go to Paul and get thoughts from the basement.
Well, first of all, I said LeMahieu was going to lead off with a home run, so I'll just take that off my list. But double figures for Cole. This is a great matchup for Cole. A lot of swing hitters, plus they have not played in a long time, so I expect big things. Sanchez breakout to me. He just missed the ball last night. He flew out to left field. It looks like he's ready to get hot. The Judge free pass in big situations throughout the game. If he gets up, Girardi will not let a hot Aaron Judge beat him. So Aaron Hicks is going to have to swing the bat because they will pitch around it.
All right, so a throw over as Hicks scampers back. Here's Giancarlo Stanton. 8 hits and 25 at bats, 2 homers and 6 runs batted in. So a LeMahieu home run has given the Yankees a 1-0 lead. Grounded, third base. There's one. On to first and around the horn, 5-4-3 double play started by Segura. But LeMahieu goes yard to start off the inning, and the Yankees have a run. It's 1-0 as we go to the second. And that man deserves to have his own stat package, and let's take a look at it. 18-0 in his last 24 regular season starts, 1.88 ERA. Opponents at 168 against him. How about that, though? 238 strikeouts, just 34 walks. The last time he suffered a loss was May 22nd, 2019 against the White Sox.
It's like Little League World Series numbers, right? The number one starter on the 12 and under team.
And all those numbers, and he finished runner-up in the Cy Young to his teammate, Justin Verlander. Real Muto takes a strike. Now, he has great numbers, strangely enough, against Cole. I mean, really outstanding. 10 hits and 14 at-bats, lifetime. Three infielders on the left side for him. And that's where he hits it, right to Wade. Across the diamond, one away. You see Gregorius playfully bump into his former teammate Gary Sanchez. And, you know, a lot of the Yankees spoke about it last night with Judge's mammoth home runs and the big blow that gave them the lead. What Yankee Stadium would have sounded like on a Sunday night with 50,000 people there, and you wonder what kind of reception Didi would get in front of a big crowd. Same thing with Joe Girardi, but we'll have to put that on pause. Gregorius spent 5 years with the Yankees, signed a 1-year, $14 million deal with the Phillies during the offseason. kind of reestablish his value. Already has 2 home runs. Had 97 home runs with the Yankees. You see all those numbers. And the one thing that always jumps out at me about him, and I wonder if you agree with me, David, when he got here, people did not talk about, gee, Derek Jeter wouldn't have. I mean, he made, not that you could ever forget Derek Jeter, but it wasn't like a point of emphasis over and over and over again that he's taking over for Derek Jeter. He carved out his own space.
It's a valid point, Michael, and well said. One of the most popular players the Yankees have had in their uniform over the last 5 to 10 years. That home run he hit against Cleveland in the wild card game was one of the most dramatic home runs you will ever see. It was against Minnesota that got the Yankees right back in the game. I think they were down 3-0 at the time, had a long first inning. I believe it was Severino got knocked out of the game, and Didi comes up and bang, tie Wago. And I don't know if that was maybe one of the loudest I've heard the crowd at Yankee Stadium.
That one is ripped into center field. Hicks on the run, and he's there to make the play. So Didi certainly had his moments as a Yankee. He did what he had to do, replacing the legendary Derek Jeter. Well liked, always had a smile on his face, and there's one of the big home runs that he hit. Did a great job at shortstop. And that's the sound that David was talking about.
He had some big home runs. He had one against Cleveland as well, but that Minnesota one's the one I was thinking.
Segura with a high fly ball to right center, drifting over is Hicks. And another 1-2-3 inning for Gerrit Cole, making quick work of the Phillies. We'll go to the bottom of the second. This is brought to you in part by FanDuel. There's more ways to win on FanDuel. By Cadillac, visit your Tri-State Cadillac dealer today and experience the freshest lineup in luxury, featuring the Cadillac CT5. And by MLB Tap Sports Baseball 2020. Your players, your team, your baseball game. 6 up, 6 down for the Phillies against Cole. And now Arrieta will deal with Ford, Urshela, and Sanchez in the bottom of the second. Yankees up 1-0. Grounded, right side. Kingery over to first, not in time. So they had the shift on, and Kingery was in short right field, so he had to charge quickly and get the throw off, and Ford beat it out.
Yeah, not a lot of times does a shift really hurt you when the ball's pulled, but he was playing so deep and over in a shift that Ford hit the ball off the end of the bat. Just not enough time.
The big fella humping. He smells that head, Paulie.
I tell you what, as a hitter, boy, when you hit it off the end of the bat, you usually put your head down. But when you're playing into a big shift and you see that smile, boy, you'll take it any day of the week, a cheap hit.
Here's Gio Urshela, and there's a strike.
Coney, as you look back, I mean, 2014, 15, 16, 17. I mean, Arrieta was really the Gerrit Cole of the National League. I mean, he was shutting people down. 22-6, Cy Young in 2015. So he, you know, obviously not the same pitcher, but at one time, the best pitcher in the National League.
Yeah, Paul, it's a great point. He was at one point in his peak, he was striking out over 200 batters a year, and you can see that graphic kind of tells the story. And he's just not getting swings and misses anymore. Actually, last in the league in percentage of swing and misses.
Ground ball. Oh, nice play by Hoskins. Goes the second one on to first. What a beautiful double play. Hoskins starts a 3-6-3.
Yeah, Gio does everything he can trying to hit behind the runner. It just happens to hit it right at Hoskins, who does, from his knees, Michael, make a great play. And everybody knows the arm strength of Didi. It's short. ends up being an easy double play for him.
That's going to bring up Gary Sanchez. Gary has just 2 hits in 22 at-bats. His first hit, hit it through the right side, jokingly asked for the baseball. That was after an 0 for 15 with 10 strikeouts. And there's a strike. Gary did not like that call from Nick Lentz, the home plate ump.
Coney, I don't know. I mean, you've seen early, even Gerrit Cole getting some pitches off the outside corner. And, you know, as a pitcher, I would imagine immediately you know whether you're going to get those pitches off the plate.
Sanchez hit it hard. McCutchen right there. We go to the 3rd inning. It's 1-0 Yanks. Between innings, the Yankees played a video highlight package of Joe Girardi's career. That big triple over the head of Grisham. In Game 6 of 1996, O'Neill said that home plate was vibrating. What a great, great moment in that series and in the beginning of that run. And then obviously as a manager where he won a World Series in 2009, opening up this ballpark. And there's a strike to Jay Bruce. Tell me again, Paul, when you touched home plate, how it just felt like your foot was going to like snap.
Yeah, it was an amazing thing to actually feel the ground shaking, and it wasn't the only time, but it was, you know, in a World Series game where you get to jog in, you can kind of just land on the plate and you feel it kind of shaking. You know the excitement's in the air, and that place was rocking. And, you know, as that video went on, and then you saw him as a manager, you know, 10 years as a Yankee manager, over 900 wins. You do the math, that's averaging over 90 wins a year. So a neat thing for the Yankees to do, even though you don't have a full house here, to give him a tribute.
What was that triple like in the dugout, David?
When we looked up at the upper deck at the old stadium, it was shaking. And for the first time, I got a little nervous. That thing's coming down, Paulie. I mean, it looked like it. Fans were jumping up and down in the upper deck. And you could literally see it moving.
Well, that signaled that the long wait for a championship was over, and people just released all that emotion, and it was all new and not expected. Because remember, the Braves won the first 2 games of that series, and the Yankees took the 3 in Atlanta and came back, and Joe's big hit off Greg Maddux electrified the crowd. Jay Bruce clubs one to right center field. On the run is Hicks taking a look. See ya into the Yankee bullpen. The game is tied at 1.
Well, this is what Jay Bruce does. I mean, not a big average hitter, a lot of strikeouts, but he hits a lot of home runs. The next first-round draft pick from the Cincinnati Reds, and then has moved on. But 5 times in his career, he's hit over 30 home runs. So this is what he does. If you miss with a pitch, he is a pretty much dead pull hitter as far as launching it.
This is the flip side of the 4-seam fastball. They're hard to hit. Gerrit Cole has one of the best in the game. It's got life, but when it doesn't get up there, it does fly.
Kingery takes a strike from Cole. Paul, take me what it would mean to you to have 8 unwanted days off in the middle of a season. What would be
I couldn't
effective?
think of anything worse, to tell you the truth. Yeah, it just your timing gets off. You get flat as a player. There's just not a button you can push off and on. And you said it earlier. You're a creature of habit. You do certain things at certain times throughout the day to prepare for that 7 o'clock start, and then all of a sudden you take a week off. Everything you've worked for, you kind of shut down, and it's very hard to flip that switch immediately back on.
And David, these weren't just days off. They couldn't even go to the ballpark.
Yeah, I've seen some of the most remarkable things where pitchers are trying to work out in hotel rooms. They're lifting the mattress up against the wall and throwing baseballs or weighted balls into the mattress in their hotel rooms.
A pretty big target, Coney. If you can't hit a mattress in a hotel room, you've lost your stuff, huh?
I could, I've made some noise in some hotel rooms, Paulie, on the road before, but I never threw a baseball against a mattress.
Now, Joe Girardi was asked about a week of postponements, and he said we have 57 games left, and there's 56 days left in the season. I guess the best way to say it is we'll just stay tuned, and we'll handle whatever comes our way. As far as it being a disadvantage, only time will tell. You don't know, because I believe that players have the ability to rise to the occasion all the time and do extraordinary things, and I like our club a lot. And they asked to make up those games with the Marlins and the Blue Jays, and he said, I don't know if there is a place to go. I really don't. I wanted to know if they had a league in Iceland. Grounded to Urshela. Gets a nice big hop across the diamond. One away. Time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Let's see that pride today. Oh, yeah. That is two Judge fans. Two generations of Judge fans. Love it. Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and post your picture to social media to reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game.
Back to your point, Michael. I mean, the Philadelphia Phillies do have a lot of pieces, but Joe Girardi did not walk into a World Championship team. I mean, he's got some players, but there's a big void in that bullpen. Pitching's going to be an issue. They're going to score some runs, but again, there's still some work to be done before you consider the Phillies one of the perennial teams to look in the World Series.
So Hazley grounds out to LeMahieu. Two away and back to the top of the order. And Andrew McCutchen, former Yankee. The short time he was here with the Yankees, an end of the season acquisition, immediately fit in, very well liked, plays the game the right way, has a great attitude, great engine. Grounded to third, charging Urshela, and the stretch by Ford. It pulls him off the bag, and the ball gets away nonetheless. We'll see how they score that. But he was so impressive in that Yankees stint that, David, he got himself a nice contract with the Phillies.
Yes, he did. He's been a leader and a real classy guy. As you see, there's just no way Ford can stay on the bag and make that play. You say McCutchen and Cole were teammates for several years in Pittsburgh. McCutchen got a bird's eye view in center field of what Cole features, although Cole's a little different look now than he was back in Pittsburgh.
Still waiting on the official scoring on that. Pitch to Hoskins is low. And they give him a hit.
Yeah, a lot of times fielders are pressured, and you've talked about it, Michael, about the speed of the runner. McCutchen runs well, gets out of the box where, Urshela has to make that play and just off target because he had to rush to throw it a little bit.
Well, they changed their mind. It's now an E5 on Urshela. And there's a strike to Hoskins.
So in other words, they took the speed factor out.
I guess so.
Yeah, we've noticed it before, Michael and Paulie, but if you squint when you look at Hoskins in the box, it's almost like he's playing for with that look and that mustache, it's like he's playing for the 1980 Phillies.
Fouled away.
It's back in the time zone where they were wearing those like baby blue uniforms with the red Phillies on it, huh, Cody?
That's right. World Championship in 1980.
I like those uniforms, and now the Twins are back to their baby blues, and those look great.
There's some good unis around the league this year, some good changes. The Padres, fantastic.
Padres off to a good start along with those uniforms. I mean, they brought Machado there knowing that they were going to build a couple years ago, and seems to be starting to come to a head there where they're something to be reckoned with out in the West.
There's the color scheme from those old unis. Spoiled that one. Still 2-2. There's Michael Jack Schmidt, as Harry Callis used to call him. Hall of Fame third baseman. Those are those unis we're talking about.
That's that guy that screamed at you for throwing a 3-2 slider, isn't it, Coney?
Yes, he did.
Swing and a miss. Hoskins down on strikes. The Phillies tied on the Bruce home run. We'll go to the third, 1-1.
Yes, it is time for tonight's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Doing More. Aroldis Chapman hit the road today. He is now in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He's expected to throw a bullpen either tomorrow or Wednesday, according to Aaron Boone. They will reevaluate thereafter. Meanwhile, Luis Cessa threw a 40-pitch simulated game on Saturday. He said that he felt very good after that, but did admit when he first came back from COVID-19, he did feel a little extra fatigue and was concerned. Luckily, it only lasted a couple of days, and he does believe he is 100% now. Now, Paul O'Neill, you mentioned the fact that they may need some pitchers for all these double headers coming up. Luis Cessa could potentially be an option.
Thank you, Meredith. We'll hear from Meredith a little bit later on. It's 1-1, bottom of the third inning. And it'll be Gardner, Wade, and LeMahieu as Gardner takes a ball. Gardner just one hit in 16 at bats. That one hit was a home run, though. He has 2 ribbies. There's a strike. Skied the other way. On the run is McCutcheon, and that ball is gone. An opposite field home run. Power the other way by Gardner, and the Yankees lead 2-1.
Well, this is what you did not see years ago with that power sinker. Now you see that ball up in the zone a little bit with just kind of a run on it. And we've talked many times about what a good pitch that is to hit for a lefty, because it kind of just sails right to the barrel of your bat. Watch, this ball doesn't get down, kind of tails away, and Brett Gardner stays with it and just drives it to left field. Ball carrying again in Yankee Stadium.
Here's Tyler Wade.
You know, I'd venture to say, Michael, I don't think Brett Gardner's ever had a home run hit there in his big league career. I'll go out on a limb.
Chopped to first. Hoskins. One away.
Brett Gardner's first home run this year was a second decker over 400 feet, pulled. You can tell he's talking some smack. You go oppo like that, you can talk a little smack when you get back to the bench.
Hey, Coney, explain to me, and you know, we've talked about Arrieta, how dominant he was in Chicago. You know, a good slider, but it's just a power sinker. And, you know, velocity probably not much different, but the sink on the baseball, not like it was. Is it a release point? Is it just arm strength? What is it?
Yeah, it's wear and tear, you know, and arm strength. I think he had off-season surgery on his elbow. I had some loose bodies in there, maybe a spur that he had taken care of. His velocity is pretty decent, but you hit it on the head. If you're going to be a two-seam pitcher, a movement specialist, then you need to change planes. You need a little sink. You know, a little downward tilt on that two-seam fastball, and you're right, it's just kind of running. And he's just not missing bats. And we mentioned that the two extremes are the pitchers tonight, the two starting pitchers. The guy who misses the most bats is Gerrit Cole last year, over almost 17%, a little shy of 17% of all the pitches that Gerrit Cole threw last year were swung and missed at. On the other end of the spectrum, Jake Arrieta only got a little over 7%. Swing and misses on all of his pitches, and that was the lowest rate in the big leagues last year.
LeMahieu hit a home run in the first inning. It's the second leadoff home run of the season. He had 6 last year, and his 2 this year ties the Twins' Max Kepler for the most in the bigs. So now the Yankees have 34 runs scored on a home run, both tonight. 2-2. Grounded to second. Kingery. Let's take a look at Aaron Judge, and as he comes up to the plate, we take a look on StatCast powered by Google Cloud. These are the 6 home runs he's hit, and he's been pulling them this year. You see that one to the opposite field, and Aaron Boone said it's not a change in approach, it's just a different way that they're pitching him.
I don't know if I agree with that, Paulie. I've seen a discernible change in Aaron so far. Looking in, bringing his hands in close to his body, and really trying to pull those balls. When pitchers are trying to challenge him in, especially early in the count, he's looking for it.
And it goes back to being healthy. I think that, he can torque his body now and try to pull the baseball. Well, you look back at having an issue with your shoulder and your rib and things like that, it's almost painful to try to get out and hook a ball where, you try to stay inside. I just think that he is having a blast playing baseball right now because his body feels good.
Well, this year he has a 70% pull rate. Now, obviously, it's a very young season. But the highest pull rate he's ever had in his career in the big leagues was 46.5% in 2016. And that was a very small sample size, but in the full seasons you see what he's done the last 4 years. So 70%, certainly different for him. He singled to center in the first.
Paulie, one of the best right-handed hitters that I ever faced was Edgar Martinez. And he, the Hall of Famer with the Mariners, and he was the king of that. He could hit the ball the other way, but if you tried to come in off the plate, he could bring his hands in, lead with the knob of the bat, and cut you off and keep it fair. And Aaron Judge is starting to feature that kind of swing here and there.
Hit sharply to third and under the glove of Segura and down into the left field corner. Judge has himself a double, and he will stop right there. Single and a double for Judge today. So runner at second for Aaron Hicks with 2 outs.
Everything in this at bat was away, and then you try to get in, and Aaron Judge is able, the ball's supposed to be away, and you see it run in, is able to get and cover all of the plate, which to me just means he is so comfortable with the plate. He doesn't have to guess in or out. Just pick up the baseball, put a good swing on it.
You're talking about a guy that's 6'7", 280, and being able to get to an inside sinker like this and shorten up and bring his hands in. That's amazing.
So here's Hicks.
You know what's funny, when you look at that last at bat, if you're Aaron Judge, you're standing on second base and you think, wow, they tried to pound me in and I got to it. You don't know that Arrieta missed all the way across the plate on his target. So in your mind, you figure I covered that inside pitch, not knowing that they were trying to go away.
There's a strike. This is where he was setting up on that pitch. So he missed by the entire width of the plate. Take a look at the Coors Light beating the pressure. This is the Yankee offense with runners in scoring position. Last 6 games, 371. They started off slow in the first 2. 13 hits and 35 at bats the last 6 games.
That's a lot of opportunities. 35. Sort of, that leads you, Paulie, and when you talk about RBIs and driving in runs, it's an opportunistic stat. You got to have runners you got to have runners on base in front of you to get that opportunity. That's where sometimes the total number of RBIs can be deceptive. Yeah.
It's very different this day and age that most of your premier hitters are batting second in the order to get those extra at bats. But I agree, Coney. I mean, the opportunities at 3, 4, and 5, but as stacked as these lineups are this day and age, that second hitter's getting a lot of opportunities himself.
That one is laced into left center field. That's going to be a base hit. That'll score Judge easily. Going for 2 is Hicks, and he will make it with a double and RBI. It's 3-1 Yanks.
That hitting with runners in scoring positions continues to go up as the Yankees put together great at bats. Hicks took some at pitches, but again, this sinker, you see it ends up middle of the plate, and Hicks does a great job with staying with it, driving it the other way. Another run on the board.
Good job of Hicks busting it out of the box, thinking double the whole way.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but Aaron Judge looked over his shoulder also, and you've got to realize if that hitter's going for 2, you've got to cross home plate just in case he's thrown out at second. And Judge went right through home plate, not taking anything for granted. Wow.
Looking like a Frank Poli strike zone back in the day there, Paulie.
Yeah.
1989 strike zone.
So the inning opens with the home run by Gardner. Now, Phil Hughes is a very interesting follow on Twitter. He's pretty funny. And he tweeted out, "Gardy is my boy. But if he's going oppo, the league has a baseball problem." This one is blocked by Real Muto's bare hand.
Ouch.
Instinct. It's hard to fight it. You just react. See that with pitchers on balls back up the middle. You get your bare hand in the way. You're not supposed to, but sometimes your hand just goes there.
Drill to right field. Fair ball, it's gone. It is a foul ball. Just missed the pole.
Boy, off the bat, you said it, Michael. If it's fair, it's, you know, when Stanton puts wood on it, it's going. And I tell you one thing, he's been able so far this year, as you see that just drift foul, to be able to cover that ball away.
So, Paul, he's allowed to go oppo, right?
Yeah, I don't think the pitchers would have a problem with that. I don't think they would blame that one on the baseball.
Strike three, Stanton down looking. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 man left. The first run in the inning came via an opposite field blast by Brett Gardner. The veteran goes the other way for a home run. Tuesday, the Yankees and the Phillies will play a doubleheader at Philadelphia's Citizens Bank Park. And yes, we'll have full coverage of both games starting at 3 o'clock with first pitch of Game 1 scheduled for just after 4. So don't miss this unique 7-inning twin bill on yes. First game, Yankees are going to be the home team. Second game, Phillies will be the home team. And the second game will start 35 minutes after the first one ends. Between innings, the Yankees had a DD tribute on the big board in center field. A lot of great moments with the Yankees, some of which we showed you early. Audi scoreboard 3-1 Yanks. 1-1 on Harper. And the Yankees thank Didi for 5 years of really, really solid play.
Back, no doubt in my mind. Yankee fans appreciate guys that play well and win championships, which Joe Girardi, Didi were both a big part of. So no doubt in my mind that you would have seen somewhat of a standing ovation for both.
So Harper lines a single the other way to start off the 4th inning against Cole. Harper can run. He had 15 stolen bases last year. So the Yankees have Ford holding him on. And here is JT Realmuto. Fouled away.
Muto was really the first piece that the Phillies started to bring together. They brought him in before Harper and, you know, started to rebuild. He was an offensive catcher brought in. So, 25 home runs last year was a career high. So he's kind of on his way. And again, when you're rebuilding, you've got to bring in players. He was one of them.
Word is they were moving closer to signing him to a contract. He's a free agent at the end of this year, and then the sport and the world took a pause on March 12th, so that has been put on the shelf for a while. Count 0-2. Now, everybody in the truck is saying that Realmuto has a little bit of a young John Flaherty to him. Do you guys see it? I don't.
I guess if you squint really hard, maybe.
Right.
I can see it.
The 0-2. Blocked by Sanchez.
Well, they're both athletes. Realmuto's a real athletic player. Flaherty, too. John's certainly even post-career is a triathlete. Realmuto back in high school in Oklahoma played basketball, baseball, and football and won 2 state championships in both baseball and football. Everywhere he's been, all the coaches and teammates rave about what an athlete he is.
Strike 3. And he does not like that call.
Wait, Paul, you remember back when you asked me in the first inning, the pitchers know where the strike zone is? I think Gerrit Cole found out that you can get a little bit off the edge, and he's going there. You see Gary kind of yank it back in, trying to frame it. Just off.
Didi takes upstairs, 1-0.
When Didi came over, Michael, first of all, and Coney, it didn't surprise me that he became a really, really good defensive shortstop. He had a great arm, covered a lot of ground, but he progressively got better and better with power, and that really kind of surprised me. 27 home runs in 2018. I mean, he learned how to hit in Yankee Stadium, and Coney, you pointed it out earlier, some really, really big home runs come postseason time.
Really dangerous on the inner half of the plate. Anything coming on the inner third to the inside corner, he is lightning quick.
Now, Didi took up a hobby during the offseason and then really picked up and got into it during the 4 months away. He started to tattoo himself and people. He's now a tattoo artist.
You're lucky I'm not at the stadium now, Michael. I'd be talking Didi to paint you up, man, get you all tatted up.
Line drive, a base hit to right field as Harper advances to second.
Coney, to your point, he's really good at getting around the ball. See how that bat head is coming around the ball, enable him to just rip and pull this ball.
Here's Segura, moved over to third to make room for Didi, and pitches high. We're in the 4th inning. It's 3-1 Yankees. Two and 0.
It's a problem when you're, as a pitcher, Coney, that you've been given that pitch and then all of a sudden you go back to it in a big situation and then you don't get it, and then that's where the strike zone can really start to irritate the pitcher and the hitter.
There's one on to first. It's a double play. Urshela starts it around the horn. 5-4-3 double play. 2 hits, 1 left. Go to the bottom of the 4th. Afternoon on Yes, and Nets continue their push for a playoff spot as they face off against Giannis Antetokounmpo and the conference-leading Milwaukee Bucks. Coverage starts tomorrow at 1 right here on Yes. Big win for the Nets against the Wizards, which almost, not quite, but almost ensures them a spot in the playoffs. It'd be awfully tough for them to be caught by the Wizards, who are also a decimated team. Audi scoreboard has the Yankees up 3-1 bottom of the 4th inning. Now, Paul, Jack Curry texted me, told me that the Ramones have a song called I Don't Want to Go Down to the Basement. I guess you're not familiar with that.
I wasn't a big punk rock band fan, so maybe I didn't know that one, yeah.
Along with David Cohn and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay. We're here at the stadium. In a basement somewhere in the middle of Ohio is Paul O'Neill. Grounded foul.
Well, I got to say this, Michael. When Paul O'Neill the other night on the broadcast said that he forgot what he was going to say because he's in the basement, it was the funniest thing I think I've heard in my entire tenure here at the Yes Network.
I just thought what you had to say was much more important than mine, Coney, so I'll let you go.
Swing and a miss. A tip into the glove of Rio Muto, 1 away. Now a quick word from MLB Tap Sports Baseball 2020.
Your players, your team, your baseball game. Tap Sports Baseball 2020.
So 1 away. That brings up Gio Urshela. Wrapped into a 3-6-3 double play in the 2nd.
Gio's swinging the bat a lot better lately. Even the double play here, trying to hit behind the runner, grand slam the other night. I mean, again, you're just starting to add more offense to go along, and you're always offensively under the radar when Aaron Judge is going through the time that he's going through right now.
Arrieta has allowed 6 hits, 2 home runs tonight. And his salad days were definitely with the Cubs, 54-24. With a 2.7 ERA. And also, he helped the Cubs end their 108-year title drought. He won games 2 and 5 of the 2016 World Series against Cleveland. Then signed a 3-year deal with the Phillies. He's been a different pitcher with the Phillies, 18-19, with close to a 5 ERA. And the 3-2. Swing and a miss. He struck out the last 3 Yankees.
It's one of the first times we've seen a Yankee swing and miss on that slider. Down and away. He's always been sort of unconventional, as Arrieta, that cross-firing style of his that creates a lot of that movement.
Sanchez hit the ball hard. Line drive to left, caught by McCutchen in the second.
It was almost a quick pitch right there where Gary Sanchez takes a really good pitch to hit, but wasn't quite ready when the ball got to the hitting area. And then sometimes with a leg kick, if a pitcher rushes you, you're not quite ready.
And down goes Sanchez as Arrieta strikes out the side. Yankees go down in order, and we'll go to the top of the fifth. 3-1 Yanks. Pitcher as well, and you just see so many injuries these days. So Soroka goes down. Something's up with his right leg, and then the word on Ohtani today, he was not going to pitch for 4 to 6 weeks, so in all likelihood, that's it for the season. He has a right elbow issue. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. And David, he's such a good hitter. Do you think they just might move away from him pitching?
I don't know if you can do that as of yet, but you certainly need to protect him. And it's another example that Tommy John surgery is no joke. You know, people think, oh, let's just go get the TJ surgery and I'm going to be better than ever. And you know, there's lots of stories out there to where it's not so easy to come back from sometimes. But he's too talented to give up. I mean, Michael, I think maybe a reliever in the future, possibly. It's hard to say.
Right.
But his stuff, when it's right, if his arm gets healthy again, it's just too good not to use.
Yeah, that's what's so seductive, is because when he's on the mound, I mean, you just can't believe his stuff. But I've said this a lot about players that come from Japan. They pitch so much and they throw so much as a kid that you wonder, is it going to blow out at some point? And remember, when Tanaka got here, that's when the UCLA was discovered, but he has pitched through it, knock on wood, and done a tremendous job. That's been a great signing for the Yankees.
There's a lot of talk about the baseballs, the texture on the baseballs in Japan. They have sort of a tacky feeling to their baseballs. The leather's pre-treated in Japan. And most Japanese pitchers, when they come over here, really notice that the baseballs are much slicker. You know, we still use mud to rub them up, but there's a big difference in the texture of the baseballs between Japan and the U.S.
(3-2). Bruce fouls it away. I mean, if you look at the list of pitching injuries this year, it's frightening. Severino, Sale, Reynaldo Lopez, Verlander, Odorizzi, Kluber, Hamels, as Bruce walks. Syndergaard, Stroman, David Robertson, Jose Quintana, Anthony DeSclafani, Clayton Kershaw, who pitched very well yesterday, coming back from the back stiffness. Alex Wood, Jameson Taillon, Chris Archer, Miles Mikolas. It's amazing. Those are some big-time pitchers. And there was some fear of that, David, coming into this year with the truncated summer camp, and did the pitchers have enough time to get ready in 3 weeks? You just don't know. Something to keep an eye out.
I think every organization across the board, too, is having their overall depth tested, really, the entire roster, but especially pitching. You look at some of the young arms, they play such a significant role for everyone, and even the Yankees. You see Nick Nelson coming through the other night. Michael King. So there is a significant role to be played for a lot of these young arms.
Coney, if you look back, and I know I've mentioned your career, early in your career, you were a flamethrower. You threw the ball by people. I mean, even at that point, were you throwing at 100%? Because these guys that come in middle relief, they're 100%, as hard as they can go, as fast as they can go, because of the power involved. And a good play by Judge right there after losing his balance.
Like he took a weird step and lost his balance. Now gets rid of the divot, or fills in the divot. What do you think happened here, Paul?
Well, every once in a while you see that slip right there, but I tell you what, you talk about your heart to start pounding. As soon as you slip, that ball starts moving, and all of a sudden you got to pick it up again. And again, a good recovery there for Aaron Judge.
You got about a size 17 divot out there in right field deep.
That's right.
One and two. On Adam Hazley, the center fielder, ninth batter on the order. Well, you could hear Cole grunt from up here. Really put a lot into that pitch.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, that's the best fastball he's thrown tonight at 98. See, that 3rd inning was the trouble inning.
No, and talking about the pitching injuries, Ben Lindbergh wrote about pitchers' injuries in a piece for The Ringer today, comparing injuries at this point of the season to the same point in previous seasons. And he said 2020's total of 39 COVID-related pitcher IL stints since opening day is more than 50% higher than in any previous opening period. Down goes Hazley, and then he said, and the 2020 tally of 30 pitcher arm injuries is 150% higher than the record in any previous season's opening stretch, which was 12. That was the highest previous.
It's just different when you get into a real game. Your adrenaline rush is so much more. You can do all of the work on the side or in simulated games that you want, but when the games count and you're out there on the bump, you just jack it up a little bit more naturally. Seen a pretty good mix of pitches from Gerrit Cole tonight. He's got into that pitching mode. You can kind of sense, you know, what kind of a night it's going to be early for him, and if he has his good fastball or not. He's had 14 knuckle curves and 18 sliders out of his 76 pitches so far.
The 0-2 hit sharply to short. Wade goes the short way to LeMahieu, and that'll do it as Cole pitches around the leadoff walk. Yankees up by 2. Brought by Delta. The Delta Care Standard puts your safety first with enhanced cleaning practices and more room on board by blocking middle seats beyond September. Here's Brett Gardner, and he grounds one to second. Kingery to Hoskins, 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 5th.
Hey, Coney, back in Kansas City, there was a Mike Kingery. You remember Mike Kingery, an everyday little outfielders? Any relation to Kingery at second base?
I don't think so. But yes, he was a good outfielder. Speedy outfielder.
Yeah.
0-2 on Wade. Wade grounded to first in the third. Chop to second. Kingery. High throw, but a stretch by Hoskins for the second out. Kingery's dad is Tom, so it is not the player who played with Kansas City, Paul.
All right. See, I love to come on these broadcasts, Mike. I get all my questions answered, you know.
I love it. Tom's a great guy, too, from what I hear.
Yeah, so is Mike.
Yep. There's DJ LeMahieu. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. He's 1 for 2. The one a home run, leading off the first inning, and a strike.
Well, you know, Kingery's one of those guys, Paulie, that before he played a day in the big leagues, the Phillies signed him to a 6-year deal, a major league deal, for $24 million. Kind of bought out his arbitration years before he even was called up to the big leagues. So it was a kind of an interesting contract and kind of the new way to look at it, where some organizations are trying to do that, to kind of lock up their kids, their top prospects, before they even prove themselves on the major league level.
Chop toward third. Segura cannot handle it, so that'll be an infield single for LeMahieu.
See, the good headers even get all the breaks, huh? Gonna try to barehand that ball, and I've said time and time again, you don't realize how much spin is on that baseball. Very hard.
Download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and much more. You know, Paul, now that I take a deeper dive into the Kingery family tree, he does have an identical twin brother, Sam. And he has another brother, Matt, who's an orthopedic surgery resident at NYU. So there you have the Kingery household.
Good.
It's one of the great New York Post headlines back in the 80s, right? Sam Militello pitched a good game, and it was Sam I Am.
Oh, yeah.
The 1-0 to Judge. Now, David told you this at the start. This is not the time to go to the fridge. You have to sit and you have to watch Judge, because you never know what he's going to do with every single swing. He's so locked in. He's 2 for 2 tonight, a single and a double. Now, he did get an award today. He was named the AL Player of the Week. 368, 7 for 19, 6 homers, and 13 runs batted in. The National League Player of the Week, Nick Castellanos. Two 1. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitched the Judge. Bounced up there and past Realmuto. That allows LeMahieu to advance to second.
You can see the changeup grip, turns it over and spikes it. And Realmuto goes into block mode and realizes he's got to try to backhand it. That's how far out in front that changeup lands.
And that scored a wild pitch.
Yeah, a lot of times those catchers, you see the new way of almost sitting down with that leg out for a better target, but really not as mobile as you could be. But that pitch right there, absolutely no chance. You're right, Coney. That was 4 or 5 feet out in front of home plate.
High fly ball, left field. McCutchen puts it away for the final out of the 5th. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We're going to the 6th inning in the Bronx, 3-1 Yankees. It's brought to you in part by FW Webb, the official plumbing, heating, cooling, and PBF supplier to the New York Yankees. So, Gerrit Cole's first start in pinstripes. His first 2 starts of this year have been in the road grays. This is his first one in pinstripes, and he's up 3-1 as he goes to the 6th. And the first pitch to Rhys Hoskins is outside 1-0. Montefiore scoreboard 3-7-0, leading 1-4-0. What's your overview so far on Cole, David?
You know, it's been a workman-like effort. You know, we come to the ballpark and you think, well, he's going to strike out 12 tonight or 15.
High fly ball, deep center. Going back is Hicks. He's on the track, right in front of the wall in dead center. He makes the play.
2-0 fastball. Here it is. Hit it. Hoskins did.
I think if you look at Cole's actions after the pitch, he thought he gave up another home run. Really doesn't know Yankee Stadium enough yet. That ball up in the strike zone hit pretty well, but Coney, you know as well as I do, deep center field, still tough to go dead center.
I think he's really trying to mix his pitches up, kind of find, you know, the right repertoire and the allocation.
Lined right to Ford to retire Harper. 2 well-struck balls here in the 6th.
The first pitch changeup right here. Harper hits a scorching hooking line drive.
That was 104 miles an hour off the bat. Realmuto tonight is 0 for 2. Ground ball to short and a strikeout looking. And we told you he comes into the game 10 for 14 lifetime against Cole.
You know, I mentioned, you know, Gerrit Cole, Michael, just to finish the point on your question, is just 44 four-seam fastballs tonight out of those 82 pitches. So you kind of he sensed early on he was going to try to mix it up a little bit, and these are the, you know, Paulie, and you asked before about pitchers throwing maximum effort a lot nowadays. Well, Gerrit Cole is more interested in these type of nights where he has to use his finesse a little bit more to get through an outing. And a lot of knuckle curves too, about 15. I think we see, Paulie, maximum effort out of the relievers more. If you're a starter and you're going to get 3 times through the order, you're going to have some finesse.
Just missed the outside corner, 2-2.
But your point is well taken, Paulie. The power's front and center now.
That pitch earlier in the game was being called. Now all of a sudden that pitch just off the outside corner, a ball. But Coney, back to you talking about the maximum effort in the bullpen. And I was kind of trying to relate it to the injuries. I mean, I don't know that the human body is made to throw a baseball 100 miles an hour just time and time again. And I think that has a lot to do with why you're having so many injuries with some of these relievers and even some of the starters.
It's a good point. I mean, these pitchers nowadays are training so much harder, and they're pushing the limits of what the human body can do and what an arm can do.
Hit sharply. Oh, what a play! From his backside, he fires to first, but can't get Real Muto. What a play by Urshela to even stop that from going into the outfield.
Yeah, Michael, sometimes on a baseball field, even if an out is not made, you still respect the effort and the athleticism to try to get this done. Urshela just stabs that ball. That ball was absolutely hammered, was by him. Knew the only way to get rid of it was to not take his feet. Just was not able to make an accurate throw, but what a play to keep it from going to left field.
I'm not even sure a great throw would have got Real Muto, who runs very well.
You're not going to throw for a catcher in there, Coney?
I thought about it. You know, you were mind melding.
You knew Flash was probably listening. He didn't want to hear that running good for a catcher, huh?
You know that bugs him.
Drilled deep to right field. Fair ball. It's a tie game. It is foul. Boy, did he club that.
Yeah, it's always known that the hitter knows first. And if you saw Didi's reaction, he never really left the box. I mean, you just know you got it. You go around the ball. We talked about it earlier in the game, which causes the ball to hook a little bit more. You see that ball just hook foul.
Well, the Phillies took a look at that on replay. They are not going to challenge. Popped up. Right side. LeMahieu calls off Ford, says I'll take it, and he does. And that will do it. No runs a hit. One man left. Let's check out who's repping from home. Brought to you by T-Mobile. To the plate to support Food Bank for New York City. Buy a limited edition New York Yankees separate but together t-shirt, and you can help safely provide food and other resources for New Yorkers who have been devastated by the COVID-19 pandemic. T-shirts are on sale exclusively at yankees.com/foodbank. We go to the bottom of the sixth inning. And that is going to be it for Arrieta. Deolis, Gerrit will take over. One game so far this year. They've only played 3. So it'll be Hicks, Stanton, and Ford. 3, 4, and 5 in the Yankees order against Gerrit.
I think all things considered, Paulie, Arrieta kind of finished up on a pretty decent note, and to get through 5 innings and still have his team relatively in this game.
Montefiore scoreboard, 3-1.
I think it's. Sorry, Michael. It looked like a real veteran type of pitcher, knowing, you know, he was giving up some home runs early. Some balls were hit hard. All of a sudden, he did settle down, get some outs, got them in, you know, into the 6th, only down 3-1.
Yeah, he ended up with 4 strikeouts, too, and no walks. Did give up the 2 home runs, but I thought his stuff got better as the game went along and threw some pretty good sliders. Jonathan Loaizaga getting to work in the Yankees bullpen.
You know, you saw Cole in the dugout between innings talking with Boone and Sanchez. You wonder if possibly they are going to the bullpen, but you have to wait and see.
And a walk to Hicks. Now, quick word from Spectrum.
Spectrum Mobile. Unlimited talk, text, and data. Just $45.
All right, 1 on. And that'll bring up Giancarlo Stanton. There's a strike. Gerrit is 31 years old. The Phillies picked him up off waivers in February. 5th big league season, 15th season in pro ball. He's been in the organizations of the Mets, the Twins, the Pirates, the Angels, the Rangers, the Brewers, and now the Phillies. Did that get him? Yes, it did. So Stanton gets plunked. And the Yankees quickly have runners on first and second and nobody out.
You see Guerra's miss, and you see that 2-seamer running up and in. Nothing you can do as a hitter. It just kind of follows you. And Coney, when you used to drop down, you know when you lost it out a little sideways, it was going to go up and in to a righty.
Looked like it got him on the guard as Stanton wears a sort of a shin guard on his elbow there. Good time to have it, although it might have just missed it.
Mike Ford with not a lot of at-bats so far, but this is one of the bigger at-bats he's had all year, right? Big opportunity right here with a couple men on. Try to put this game out of hand.
Ford has been very aggressive early in the count. If he sees the first pitch fastball to his liking, he'll take a lash at it.
One and 0. Ford's 1 for 2. Infield single and a strikeout.
See the lefty Adam Morgan getting ready in a hurry.
This is where if you're Ford, you have to realize what type of hitter you are. Sure, if you get something in a half, you're going to look to drive it, but still, you know, he's a guy that uses the whole field, and you don't want to put yourself in a position where it's home run or bust just because you're in a 2-0 count. You got to realize there's men in scoring position. A gapper can get a lot of things done here by just seeing a ball.
See Phillies pitching coach Brian Price, former manager for Cincinnati down there, Paulie.
Yeah, he was. They expected big things out of him. Did a great job in Seattle. Lou Piniella as a pitching coach, and then came and got to manage the Reds. And I talked to Joe Girardi the other day. Loves him as a pitching coach.
So 2-0 on Ford. Hicks is at second. Stanton's at first.
You can tell that the Yankee bench thought this was low.
There's a strike, 2-2.
Wow. Coney, if you've been a hitter and you're 2-2 and he hasn't thrown a strike yet, that doesn't seem quite fair.
Going to change the nature of this at bat so far.
Popped up. Out of play. The 2-2. Just missed off the outside corner, and the count is full at 3-2.
It's the kind of plate discipline that Ford has really shown his whole career, even in the minor leagues. Every stop, he's shown the ability to lay off of these type of pitches. That's why he's always had a high on-base percentage throughout his whole career.
Three-2. Just off the end of the bat foul to stay alive. Hicks started the inning with a walk. Stanton then was hit by a pitch. First and second, long at bat for Mike Ford. Count 3-2. On deck is Giovanni Urshela. High drive, right field, going back Harper. He's on the track. He'll make the catch. Tagging is Hicks. The throw comes into Kingery, so Ford just missed. Hit it to the warning track for the first out. Yankees have runners on the corners with one out.
I'll tell you, as a hitter, you look at that, you know, and a lot of people say, hey, you're good at bat, way to battle, but you know you got a pitch. You know if you just put any kind of wood on it, you see just off the end of the bat enough to keep it in the ballpark. Just a little bit out front. I think he turned it over a little bit, took a little bit off, and just got Ford out front.
So here is Urshela. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Ground ball double play and a strikeout. Phillies looking for the double play. Pitch outside.
Paul, do you change your approach as a hitter here? You know you want to keep the ball off the ground, but you don't. Can you really change to try to drive the ball and hit the ball in the air?
Well, it depends on the count. As the count gets more in your favor, sure, you look for something up that you can really drive. And then, you know, if the pitcher gets ahead, obviously you're just trying to put the ball in play. But, yes, you definitely want to look for something up in the strike zone. Got it up in the air. Good job.
Really up in the air. And that ball is gone. A 3-run home run for Urshela. And the Bronx Bombers continue to bash the baseball. They lead 6-1.
We talked earlier in the game how Urshela is starting to swing the bat much better with a grand slam the other night. The 3-run homer tonight. I mean, again, you just add power and add numbers to this offense. This team is playing as about as well as it can right now, and it's fun to watch.
Looked like another changeup, and Gio is all over it.
Pitch outside to Sanchez. 37 of the 51 runs scored this season have come via the home run.
Coney, you look at the old book on pitching, it was always, you know, lefties don't throw lefties, change-ups, righties. It's not a real good thing because you see the movement went back towards the bat of Urshela, and if you miss with it, that's what happens.
Yeah, it just turns into a BP fastball that stays up, and that allowed Gio Urshela to get the bat head out in front. Hit it about 403 feet.
Take a look at the swing one more time on Yesmo, presented by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer.
To your point, Paul, that's an 82-mile-an-hour changeup that just kind of floated right to the barrel of the bat and helped Gio speed up his bat to get it out in front.
Swing and a miss. Sanchez struggles continue. 0 for 3 tonight, 2 for his last 25.
You know, the second swing in that at bat, the one he fouled back, was the one he could have hit. And then again, he expands the strike zone. When you start struggling, you try to hit everything. But he has put some good swings together and missed them. And then you get in a count and you get a little desperate as a hitter. To see Joe Girardi coming out to make a pitching change. So.
Girardi takes the ball from Gerrit. Yankees lead 6-1. We'll be back.
Third, customers can score free MLB TV at T-Mobile.com/MLB. Got a pitching change here in the Bronx. It's Gio Urshela's third three-run home run. Put the Yankees up 6-1, and this is going to be the lefty Adam Morgan. Last year, 40 games, only 20 hits in 29 2/3.
Phillies are carrying 4 lefties in the bullpen. So Girardi matching up the lefty against Gardner.
Gio Urshela's last 4 games, he's 7 for 14 with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs.
It's starting to rain a little bit here at the stadium. A lot of rain in the forecast tomorrow. That's why tomorrow's game has been postponed. Will be made up as a doubleheader on Wednesday in Philly, and one of those games the Yankees will be the home team batting last. And our coverage will start at 3, first game at 4, and the second game starts 35 minutes after the first one ends. Fly ball into left center. Hazley's there, and that'll do it. Yankees add 3 runs on the Urshela home run. Let's go to the 7th, 6-1 Yanks. Danny Cunningham showed the radar to Angel Hernandez, the crew chief, and they said, well, let's put the tarp on. But since the tarp has come on, it's not raining as hard. But David, I know because Paul's in the basement, you are now in possession of the Doppler. What do you see?
Well, I'm seeing every color of the rainbow here. This does not look good.
Well, the beautiful thing for Paul is that he just goes upstairs and eats now, climbs the 100 steps from the basement, and you and I read Twitter. And Bob and Jack scramble to put together a rain delay.
There is a large cell coming your way, but it doesn't look like it's going to last long. You know what? There's nothing. Let's liven things up today, Michael. Let me tell you how my day started today. All right?
Please,
and
tell us.
This is going to happen to you in about 20 years. This will happen to you. Okay, I promise.
Okay, all right.
I get a call from my daughter. All right, I answer the phone. She's ecstatic. Her wedding dress arrived today. Ronnie from Kleinfeld's delivered the wedding dress. Now, the bad news is we had to postpone the wedding. But the good news is the wedding dress is in hand, and my daughter is on her way to get married. How you like that for a day, right?
I love it, and what you just accomplished is that you stalled a little bit for us, and also you got a plug-in for Kleinfeld, which probably gets you a free dress. I know how you operate.
You're not messing around with
Kleinfeld. No. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, in 20 years, Callie will call me. They'll rouse me out of some sleep at the age of 79. Yeah, the dress came. Oh, good.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You're going to be 84 when she gets married.
I just want to make it to that, Paul. That's all. All right, so as we talk about future weddings, David, it's amazing when you look at Cole. If the Yankee bullpen could hold this, he's going to be 3-0. And you'd agree, we have not seen classic Cole yet, right?
No, we have not. I mean, we expect him, as I said before, he's one of those few pitchers that you think, wow, something special could happen every time he takes the mound. Is tonight the night he's going to throw a no-hitter? Is he going to punch out 15? And, what we've seen is a really professional pitcher who can pitch when he doesn't have his good stuff. And we talked about that. Jack Curry and I talked to him in spring training about that. And these are the type of games that he wants to be able to come through and mix it up and find a way to get it done even when he doesn't have his A game. And so far, that's exactly what we've seen from him.
And he's looking for his 19th straight victory. He doubtful will come out and pitch the 7th after any kind of rain delay. And obviously, he's been helped by the home run ball. You just heard some thunder in the background, and that's all it's been lately for the Yankees, Paul, is a lot of thunder. And I was thinking this as I was driving to the ballpark today, and correct me if you think I'm wrong. I look at this Yankee lineup, and you haven't seen Gardner really hit. You haven't seen Torres hit. You haven't seen Gary Sanchez hit. And it almost makes me sad sometimes because I'd love to see this Yankee team over 162 games because I think it can be that good. Do you get that sense, Paul, when you look at this lineup?
Well, I tell you what, they've been nothing but short of impressive since this season started. They're focused. They know what they want. You're getting good at bats. And you're right. There's still more to come. Gary Sanchez, Torres, they are going to add a lot to this offense also. So, ideally you want 2 or 3 guys hot all the time. You don't want everybody hot, then everybody cold. Well, that's what the Yankees have right now. But when Aaron Judge is hot, Urshela, Stanton, you're getting plenty of run support. You're getting good enough pitching, and you still have more offense to come.
Oh, so far so good. Yankees are 7-1, and they're trying to be 8-1. They lead 6-1, and it's raining. But we'll be back. We got a lot of stuff to do, so stay right here on Yes. You saw that he leads Major League Baseball in multi-hit games since joining the Yankees. He's one of these guys, David, that might have actually become a better hitter getting away from the Mile High City and Coors Field.
It's a great point. I mean, we're learning more and more about the effect that Coors Field has on hitters. We've always talked about pitching before. That's tough to pitch there. But it almost is as if DJ LeMahieu had to come to New York to get appreciated. And this is a guy who won a batting title with the Rockies. And certainly New York's a big market, but I think there's a greater appreciation for how good of an all-around player the DJ LeMahieu really is that, coming to New York kind of shined a light on.
And remember, he was a Gold Glove winner with the Rockies, and last year second base was filled by Gleyber Torres. We saw a shot of Didi Gregorius in a Phillies uniform, and one of the reasons the Yankees were able to let him go is Gleyber Torres actually came up through the Cubs system as a shortstop. And, David, they knew that DJ LeMahieu was a plus defender at second base.
It really is a valid point. I mean, the Yankees love DJ Gregorius, and it became a numbers game to where DJ LeMahieu was so good that he needed to be at second base every day. And, you remember when he was signed, it was going to be move around all the time. And, we've said it before, but it bears repeating. It's a guy that didn't even start on opening day last year, DJ LeMahieu.
And he didn't start on opening day this year either, so that seems to be a running theme. Now, I always ask David about the pitchers, so let me get a different perspective from you, Paul. Gerrit Cole, if the Yankee bullpen does its job, is going to go to 3-0. What did you think of him tonight?
Well, I love what Coney picked up, and that was not that he was just going to throw the ball by people. He was 16 sliders, 18 curveballs. So he was searching for something, and I think that shows from pitch one that, you know, he's not going to throw the ball by people. He didn't maybe have his best of stuff. But, you know, Gerrit Cole is figuring out a way every single time. You see he's up in the zone there, a breaking ball there. It just continues to keep guys off. And early in the game, you saw the pitch off the plate being called, breaking balls outside the zone. This is a guy that knows his stuff every single night, and he's getting better and better as he takes the mound, even without his A stuff.
So, David, what is he missing A stuff? Is it the blistering fastball, or is it just location now?
Yeah, I think it's jumping ahead in the count. He fell behind here and there, and, you know, the one home run that Jay Bruce was a 2-0 fastball, and, you know, it looked like he was trying to paint his fastball early in the count and just missing and fell behind and got into some hitters' counts. But, you know, all in all, I think the thing that impressed me about Gerrit Cole tonight was he's got a different gear. And when it's a little bit like Nolan Ryan, when he starts grunting and throwing the ball 98, 99 miles an hour, that's a different gear that he can reach back like the great pitchers have always been able to do, the great power pitchers, and that he can add a little when he needs it.
And also, it's a testament to his greatness that he gives up 1 run in 6 innings, and we're saying still he's not all the way there. This is a guy who's won 18 straight games coming into this contest. That's how great he can be, and obviously he's right there on the precipice, but he's about to be 3-0 if the Yankees get 9 more outs, so there's not much to complain about, David. We're just expecting a guy who could strike out 15 guys every game.
In some ways, it's more impressive that he can still have these workmanlike efforts and win games and have the Yankee team that's going to support him so well because they have great offense. That's the kind of pitcher that can win big because he's going to find a way. And, you know, he's going to have his dominant games. He's going to have those games where he goes out and strikes out 15 guys. But on the games that he doesn't, he still only gives up 1 run. And to me, that's the difference between a good pitcher and a great pitcher.
Now, the guy that's catching him is Gary Sanchez, and Gary's done a good job with him. They seem to be on the same page. But Gary has struggled offensively, Paul. 0 for 3 tonight, 2 for 25. The first at bat, he hit a hard line drive that Andrew McCutchen caught and left, but since then he has struck out twice. Do you start to put pressure on yourself when that number keeps getting worse and worse? Right now, 2 for 25?
Oh, absolutely. I think as a hitter, you want to get off to a great start. Obviously, he started the season 0 for, 14 or 15, and then he got a hit, and then he drove in a run, and last night he just missed a pitch, flew out to left field, and earlier he took a great swing in the middle of a count, but then when he gets 2 strikes, you can almost see that panic mode, that grinding where you'll start to swing at balls outside the strike zone. So is he pressing offensively? Yes, but I don't think he's taken it to his defense and his catching and his pride of calling a good game, which 2 years ago you might not have said.
So what gets him out of it? I mean, we always hear it when he starts going to right field. That means his timing's down. Is that what you're looking for, Paul?
Yeah, I think that anybody with a leg kick sometimes can get a little out of sync, and it looked like he almost got quick pitched once tonight. He took 1 good swing and fouled it back, but when you see him start to drive the ball, the hard stuff away to right center field, then he'll start hitting the balls out to left field that are inside, and he won't have to think about it. It just look like he's thinking about trying to do a little bit too much right now.
You know, when you look at the American League East, it's so weird to see. Now, it's not weird to see the Yankees in first place at 7-1. People expected that, David. But the second place team is the Baltimore Orioles, who just swept the Rays. So we have said this from the very beginning of this 60-game season, that it could be a team that you never expected to be there because even the worst teams in baseball could have a 60-game stretch where they could be good.
It's so true, and you can sense that the Orioles have a chip on their shoulder because everybody's making fun of them and their pitching and the way they played last year and what Gleyber Torres did against them last year. So we saw the Orioles, even though the Yankees handled them earlier this year in the first week, but you could sense that you know, these guys they don't like getting made fun of. And you see Brooks Kriski's going to be on the mound for the Yanks as we get ready to restart here.
So he made his major league debut and pitched well with 2 strikeouts in that 1 inning of work and walked just 1. So that completes the evening for Gerrit Cole, who threw 91 pitches. So now the Yankee bullpen has to do what it's supposed to do, and that's just get out to have a 5-run lead. Let's take a look, David, at Kriski's debut.
Well, another one of the young guns from the Yankees, and it's been impressive. And Kriski's got a good sliders. You see the depth in that, and a good fastball as well. And the Yankees have a really good mix of power young arms that we've seen already, and Kriski's certainly on that list.
Meredith, you spoke to Kriski, right?
Michael, I asked him after his debut how bad the nerves were when he was out there on the mound, and he said there weren't really any nerves. It was more excitement than anything else. He kept telling his family and friends that he didn't know that he'd ever have that moment. 2 years ago, he was a 24-year-old in short season A, and he wasn't sure whether or not he'd get an opportunity in the big leagues. Now, he did record his first strikeout, and he almost forgot to throw the ball back to the dugout. So he was just grinding out there on the mound, trying to make the most of his debut.
Well, that was a scoreless inning to close out a 9-3 win Wednesday in Baltimore. That was his debut. Now he probably feels a little bit more sure of himself, and this time he's wearing the Yankee pinstripes rather than the road grays with New York in print across the chest. So we're ready to roll here after a somewhat lengthy rain delay. 6 innings in the book. The Yankees are leading 6-1. It'll be Segura, Bruce, and Kingery against Kriski on a relief of Gerrit Cole. Now, the Yankee bullpen the last 6 games, 4-0, 1.55 ERA. Cadillac scoreboard, 6-1 Yankees lead, and the first pitch after the rain delay is a strike, and we are underway again. Looks like the blob there. Segura 0 for 2 against Cole, and the pitch is upstairs from Kriski. 1-1. So Cole's numbers in his first 3 starts: 17 and 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks, 16 strikeouts, a 2.55 ERA. Blew it right by him. 96 miles an hour, live arm. You know, when you see the way this season is playing out now, and we thought this was going to be the case coming into this 60-game stretch, the bullpens are going to be so important because the starters just are not giving you the length. Now, 6 innings is fine. You take that in this day and age in baseball, but then you have what Paxton did. You have what Jay Happ did. They have to fill a lot of innings out of the bullpen.
Yes, they do, and obviously losing Tommy Kahnle, too, to elbow surgery. So the Yankees' young arms are on display, and so far so good.
Hour and 7-minute rain delay. That's the official time. 2-2. This is going to be considered a 1-game series. And after tomorrow, which has already been rained out because of the incoming weather in the Northeast, then Wednesday will be a doubleheader in Philly. Our coverage will start at 3. The first game starts around 4. And the Yankees will be the home team for that first game. Then the second game starts 35 minutes after the first. And the Phillies will be the home team in Citizens Bank Park. I wonder, will the Yankees bring the pinstripes to Citizens Bank when they're the home team in the first game, or will they simply just bat last? When the Blue Jays were in Washington, they wore white, so they did bring their home uniforms. Check swing, did he go? No, he did not, so Segura works a leadoff walk. Ooh.
Now you see here, I don't know, Coney. I might have rang him up there. That bad hit, kind of held off the wrist. I guess that was his only thing.
You know my whole theory on that, Pauline, it's very pitcher biased, but I think if the bat head goes into the strike zone and can spoil a good pitch, then probably should be called a swing.
Mm-hmm.
The old break the plane like the NFL end zone. If that bat head comes in front of home plate, you're covering the strike zone with the bat head. To me, that's something that should be called. But that's just an old pitcher.
Yeah, to your point, Coney. Well, to your point, though, there has been times, and I look back, didn't happen very often, that you would check swing and actually make contact and get a base hit out of it. So, to your point, I got to agree with you.
Yeah, I've seen that, and spoil a good pitch, too. A pitcher throws a good pitch that would have been called strike 3, and a hitter's able to check swing and maybe spoil that pitch, but it wouldn't have been called a swing.
Mm-hmm.
Count 1-1 on Bruce, who had a home run in the 3rd inning. You look at Jay Bruce, he's 7th on the active leaderboard, home runs at 313. So he's put together a pretty good career. Number 8 on that list is Giancarlo Stanton with 310. A couple of years ago when he was with the Mets, the Yankees tried to trade for him. The Mets didn't want to trade him to the Yankees.
It's a lot of homers.
Pitch outside.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago that the Cincinnati Reds, were trying to build the team around Jay Bruce, Joey Votto, Homer Bailey. Those were their 3 names, and now Homer Bailey's gone, Jay Bruce is gone, Joey Votto's still there, but didn't quite work out the way the Cincinnati Reds thought it would.
And a walk, so 2 straight walks by Kriske, not what you want when you're up 6-1. And it's quiet in the bullpen right now. And Matt Blake, the pitching coach, will come out and talk with Kriske. Missing all the fun of being at the stadium? I'm talking to you, Paul. Then check out Yankees.com/gameday during every game. Then get your favorite player content and scoreboard games like the MasterCard New York Subway Race, Space Mash, Yankees Trivia, and so much more.
It's amazing, Michael. 1,000 miles away, and we can still take jabs at each other. I can't even see you. You get the luxury of seeing my reaction. I can't even see you.
I know you missed that. You're a big fan of my face. Chad Green is up for the Yanks. Now these are the games that Aaron Boone, you're up 6-1. You don't have to want to go to your A relievers out there because they're going to be close games, but tomorrow's an off day. So you get that benefit and a little bit of a leeway on that. High fly ball, right center. Hicks is there. He makes the play. Tagging is Segura. He'll go to 3rd. Throw comes into 2nd.
It's one of the toughest things for young pitchers to learn is that you don't have to be perfect with every pitch. Even though you think, I'm in the big leagues now, every fastball's got to be on the corner. We saw Gerrit Cole tonight just rear back and challenge hitters, especially when he fell behind, to take his chances. And good job by Kriske there to do that. Just make him swing the bat.
Fouled away.
It's funny you say that, Coney, because from a hitter's standpoint, I look back at 20 years of playing baseball looking for that perfect swing. And I don't know that you ever find it. You grind and grind and grind to try to get better. But to your point, the perfect pitch, you don't always need it to get an out. I mean, a good pitch will get most major league hitters out.
So 1st and 3rd, Adam Hazley at the plate. Called a strike, a high strike he got there, 0-2.
Looked like the upper right quadrant of the box.
So he made his debut in Baltimore. You wonder, is there still that nervous energy first time you put on pinstripes and you're pitching at Yankee Stadium? It's Skied the other way, down a play.
Well, Coney, I don't know about you, but I remember breaking into the major leagues, and obviously your first at bat, but it's not like the second at bat, it's all gone. I mean, there is a period of adjustment to getting used to playing in the major leagues.
Yeah, it's almost as if when you're a young player, you're desperate to establish yourself, and you want to prove that you belong. Kriski's got 3 pitches. We saw a changeup right there. Pretty good pitch. He's got a slider, so he's got some weapons to go to.
No, he is 1 pitch away from loading the bases with walks. McCutchen on deck. Foul back here.
We saw Aaron Boone conversing in the dugout, and it really, that's one of Aaron Boone's strengths, is he really does collaborate on his decision making. Talking to his pitching coach, talking to his bench coach, anticipating the next move.
Now one is looped into left field, coming on is Hicks. He's going to have to play it on a couple of hops. Scoring is Segura. Moving to second is Bruce. It's an RBI single for Hazley, and the Yankees are up 6-2, and that'll be it for Kriski as Aaron Boone quickly out to the mound. So Chad Green will get the call here in the 7th. Yankees have a 4-run lead. Phillies have 2 runners on, and McCutchen coming up. The reigning Rookie of the Year, Nafisa Collier, and the Minnesota Lynx. Catch it Wednesday at 7, streaming live on Fox Sports Go and following Yankees coverage right here on Yes. Speaking of basketball, Nets Bucks tomorrow afternoon starting at 1 p.m. So you get a chance to see the Nets against Giannis Antetokounmpo. Pay money to hear Paul say that name.
We met him at the stadium. He was amazingly athletic, but he wasn't very good at hitting the ball. I remember CC Sabathia took him down to hit some off the tee. He was struggling. It's just amazing how sometimes one sport doesn't take you into another one.
So here is Chad Green facing Andrew McCutchen, first and second. Just one man out, top of the 7th inning. And that gets past Sanchez as the runners move up, and that erases the possible ground ball double play.
Well, first pitch, going to try to throw a breaking ball for a strike. And that is a 55-footer.
Yankees, of course, will let the run score. They play their infield back. And a strike. Fouled away.
This is where ex-teammates know each other. Chad Green knows McCutchen. McCutchen knows Green. But you know what? With 2 strikes, Green loves to pound the upper part of the strike zone.
That's a big strikeout as McCutchen goes down.
I think McCutchen was thinking what you were thinking, Paul, and he got the hook.
Yeah, sometimes when you mess somebody up by knowing them, you're looking for that fastball. And you saw Green, that first pitch slider right out of the pen, and then strike 3 with a good one.
Strike. Hoskins is 0 for 3 tonight. All 3 of those at bats against Gerrit Cole. Yankees lead 6-2. Phillies have runners on second and third. Took the outside corner at 95 miles an hour.
Looks like Hoskins didn't like either one of those calls. First one I thought had the corner. That one questionable.
I'll tell you another thing, Coney, as a hitter, you're seeing such a delayed call behind the plate. Strikes and balls. A lot of times as a hitter, a close pitch, you don't hear something immediately. You automatically consider it a ball, and then the next thing you know, you hear strike, and it confuses you because most of the time it's boom, boom. You hear strike or ball.
Swing and a miss. Good job by Chad Green as he works out of trouble. The out is made at first, and the Phillies score 1, but they strand 2 at the end of 6.5. It's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Yankees lead the Phillies 6-2, and we get a look at Tommy Hunter. He'll be pitching in his second game. He's 34 years old, 13th big league season. He has modeled a lot of uniforms: Rangers, Orioles, Cubs, Indians, Orioles again, Rays, and now this is his 3rd year with Philadelphia. He finished up a 2-year deal with the Phillies last season, returned to the Phillies in February on a 1-year contract. Last year, he only made 5 appearances. A right forearm strain kept him out for 3 months. Then he needed surgery on the flexor tendon in his right elbow. First pitch is a strike. Cadillac scoreboard: 6-2 Yankees over the Phillies. Bunted, and a nice play by Hunter to get Wade. Usually Wade just deadens it, keeps it fair, and he's got a real good chance.
It's a good job by Tommy Hunter, and a good throw on the back end.
If this ball gets past Hunter and gets to Segura, you're going to see Wade safe at first base. So, Coney, you're 100% right. If the pitcher doesn't make that play, he's safe.
LeMahieu 2 for 3 tonight. Grounds that one to short. 2 away. Now here's Aaron Judge, and really the one thing missing from this game is a Judge home run, Paul. I mean, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, you got to believe that the Philadelphia Phillies went through their scouting report and said, you know, if you get behind him or you're in a big situation, let's pitch around him. He's been up a couple times tonight leading off, or now with 2 outs, nobody on, where, you know, as a pitcher, you can be extremely careful.
Well, he's homered in 5 games in a row, 6 home runs in 5 games, and the record is 8 games in a row. Dale Long, Ken Griffey Jr., and Don Mattingly.
Remember watching Mattingly do that. That was just incredible. 8 straight games.
Wasn't the last one, Michael? Wasn't it a grand slam? Wasn't that the 8th?
No, because he had 6 grand slams in his career, Paul, and they were all in one season. He never hit another grand slam. I think the eighth game was an opposite field home run in Texas.
I remember that.
In the old Texas, well, the really old one.
Yeah. Scooter called that, right?
Yes, he did. So 3-2 on Judge. Judge does have 2 hits tonight, a single and a double, a run scored, a fly ball to left. And when you do what Judge has been doing, you do become the focus of all the pregame meetings. They're not going to allow you to beat them. They will say, let someone else do it, not him. So they're making him earn it today. Well, not that he hasn't earned it in the previous 5 games, but maybe they were a little bit more cavalier. Swing and a miss, and Judge down on strikes as Hunter works a 1-2-3 inning. We're going to the 8th in the Bronx. 6-2 Yanks.
Rangers. They had 4 consecutive base hits, 2 doubles. Hey, did he get all of it? Did he? Holy cow, he did it! Holy cow, Mattingly is unbelievable. The opposite field. Holy cow.
Holy cow is right. 6 grand slams. That was an MLB record for a season. And 8 consecutive games. That wasn't a grand slam. 8 consecutive games with a home run. We mentioned Dale Long did it in 56, Mattingly in 87, and Ken Griffey Jr. in 93. Paul, admit it. I know you have a lot of teammates that you like. You really had an affinity for Mattingly.
Yeah, he's definitely in the top couple guys. I actually talked to him, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago when they were still stuck in Philadelphia, and he's a baseball lifer, but he was a guy that it was very easy to root for. I mean, you didn't even hear opposing teams not like him. He's just a guy that outworked everybody and was a fun guy to watch hit.
Luis Avilan comes on for the Yankees. On the Hyundai scoreboard, 6-2 Yankees, so the lefty deals to Harper. There's a strike. I remember during that time you'd look at media guides and it would always be favorite player, and it would be Don Mattingly, especially in the years followed. You joined the team in 95. Was he everything you expected he was going to be, David?
Yes. He led by example. Just watching him, the way he went about his business, really impacted the entire clubhouse. And I think he had an impact on Paul, and then in the future, Real Tino replaced Donnie, but he was in that mode where, you know, these guys, they were all business, professional. They demanded that of you, too, just by the way they went about it.
Can you imagine, Paul, on 6 swings, 24 RBIs in 1 year?
Yeah, that's amazing. And he was, like I said, he outworked everybody. Was a cage rat. Was down there taking just swing after swing, which might have caught up to him later. But I think if you ask him, he wouldn't have done anything different. He just loved to work. He loved the game. But yeah, 6 grand slams in the season. That's There's a lot of people on base, but that's doing a lot of damage at the plate.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Harper down on strikes. Now another quick word from MLB Tap Sports Baseball 2020.
Don't play any baseball game. Play the baseball game. Tap Sports Baseball 2020.
The pitch to Realmuto is a strike.
We knew Aaron Boone saw that the Phillies had 2 lefties due up out of the 3 in this inning. So obviously with the new rules, Avilan's got to face 3 hitters.
One.
To your point, Coney, it's been said, how hard it is going to be on the players and the adjustment. But I think this game this year, with the 60 games, the very little days off, the extended, double headers, it's going to be a tougher year on managers, too, especially the managers that are caught with the elite teams trying to get to that next level in the playoffs.
Yeah. Nice diving stop by Urshela. Throw to first, and it pulls Ford off the bag. So another infield single for Realmuto, who cannot get one by Urshela, but he picks up 2 hits.
Again, as a third baseman, when you have to leave your feet, it's going to be a very tough play. Coney, you said it earlier, Realmuto runs pretty well to get up, get your balance, make an accurate throw, and strong enough to throw somebody out. It makes it very tough.
Here's Gregorius. Grounded to Ford, and he will tag Didi. Moving to second is Realmuto.
See, Loaizaga is ready, but it looks like Aaron Boone is going to let it ride here with a 4-run lead and 2 outs.
So Realmuto leads off second, 2 men out. Segura at the plate. One and 0. Good fastball on the inside corner.
Michael, you were talking about Tommy Hunter and how many jerseys he's seen and how many teams. Segura kind of in the same boat. Started his career in Milwaukee, went on to Arizona, Seattle, now in Philadelphia. So he's been through a few teams himself.
Get another look from the overhead cam, just in off the plate.
Grounded to first and foul. You know, Paul, you mentioned like pressure on managers, right? Starting on Wednesday, the Phillies and Joe Girardi will play 56 games in 54 games, or 56 games in 54 days. I don't know if that's sustainable. I don't know if you could do it. I mean, that's a lot. Usually down the stretch, you need those days off. Now the stretch is kind of, you know, the second month of the season. But, you know, you could say, well, they're paid to do it. Yeah, but you might not have the pitching to get that done. It's going to be a bear.
Well, there's no doubt that the Phillies are behind the 8 ball here. And, you know, McCutcheon actually talked about that on one of the podcasts recently, how it was really out of their control. That was the Marlins who had the outbreak, but because they were playing the Marlins, they were put on the shelf for 8 days. And now, after that long of a layoff, here they are. They had to face the Yankees tonight, and then a daunting schedule, as Michael pointed out.
Up the middle and a base hit. Real Muto rounds third. They're going to wave him home. He'll score easily. It's an RBI single for Segura, and the Yankees are up 6-3.
Little change up down and away after those fastballs in. He gives Segura a lot of credit to stay on that, even though he got off the end of the bat. He really stayed through it and got it to the outfield grass.
And there's a strike to Bruce.
That has definitely been the pitch called in and off. Sometimes it's a strike, sometimes it's a ball. That ball just off the plate, inside to a lefty, away to a righty.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. One, two. 2-2 on Bruce. Bruce has had a perfect night, a home run and 2 walks. David, we talk about pitchers being hurt, and you know, Bob showed the highlight earlier of Mike Soroka of the Braves. He's out for the year with a torn Achilles.
That looked bad when they had to carry him off the field, and that is really bad news, not only for their team but for the league in general. One of the bright young stars.
So a full count. Segura will go from first. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. He got him off speed. And Bruce strikes out. The Phillies get a run on 1 hit. They leave 1. We're going to go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Down all of the action from this series opener. Plus, get the manager's report with Aaron Boone. That's all coming up on the WB Mason postgame. Well, Joe Girardi goes to his 5th pitcher. Jake Arrieta started. Then Gerrit, Morgan, Hunter, and now Jose Alvarez. So this is his 2020 debut. Pitched in 67 games last year with 1 start. You see his numbers. And he's going to face Hicks, Stanton, and Ford. Hicks reached on a fielder's choice in the first, RBI double in the third, and then he walked and scored in the sixth. Hyundai scoreboard, 6-3 Yankees lead. Pitch is high.
Coney, trying to get your opinion on the rule. I mean, everybody has their opinion on the pitcher coming out of the bullpen having to face 3 hitters. I kind of like it as a hitter because I hated to see just these specialty left-handers that only get out one person, which was usually me. How do you, I mean, do you like the rule? Do you not like the rule? What's your overall feeling?
You know, I was willing to have an open mind and see how it played out and how it affected the strategy of the game. You know, I know there are some ex-relievers that do not like the rule at all, particularly some specialists that are lefties that lost a job.
Grounded to Gregorius. 1 down.
Yeah, but to that point, I mean, if you're a manager, I mean, there is much more strategy involved now. It's like knowing that this guy has to face 3 hitters. Who are you trying to get out the most? Who this or that? So I think it kind of, it does complicate the decisions for the manager, no doubt.
I wonder, David, if you could have a Mike Myers on the team anymore.
That's the point. Yeah, those guys have really been marginalized.
And it just becomes a gamble. Like, let's say you want to bring in a specialty lefty and you've got 2 outs in the 8th and you bring him in to get that lefty that's up. If he doesn't get him, then you're in trouble. Then the whole thing can explode on you.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do as a manager. You got to wait it out.
I always wondered, though, if you brought in that guy and it was predetermined, you're going to get an injury after this in this batter. In a big moment, how would they tell?
Yeah, there remains to be seen whether there's going to be, you know, that kind of fake injuries going on. But you're right, Paul. It does create some interest in terms of strategy, and managers really have to think ahead now. Well, Avilan did a good job there, even though he gave up you know, a hit and a run. But you know, Aaron Boone kind of rode it out with him.
So let's break down this inning on you know, what Joe Girardi is thinking, and by bringing in a lefty, you're comfortable turning Hicks around, and you know Ford's on deck, who, you know, is a lefty, so you're comfortable with that. But you have to get through one of the best hitting right-handers against lefties, so you are having to take a gamble by allowing him to face Stanton.
He's going to face that guy next too, because you can pinch hit for Ford as Luke Voigt's got a bat.
There you go. That's another thing, if you think about it, that it really does is it allows you to use the pinch hitter that you want, and where they can't go to the pen and match up against your pinch hitter.
Oh, just missed. 3-2 on Stanton. Stanton today 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch and also a run scored. Kind of been an interesting strike zone tonight by Nick Lentz. Kind of evolving. And there's ball 4. That's the last thing a hitter wants, right, Paul, is the evolving strike zone. If it's going to be wide or small, you want it the whole game the same way.
Yeah, you just, I mean, obviously you want it called right, but you don't want to have pitches taken away in big situations or with 2 strikes. I mean, in hindsight, you know, you get frustrated as a hitter if you get a bad pitch, but if it's not strike 3, then you still got a chance. But like I said, that outside corner to righties tonight has been kind of moving in and out.
Here's Luke Voigt pinch hitting for Ford. Oh, 0-1.
Hey, Michael, I'm using my telestrator to show you where that strike zone is, but you just can't see it. Just know that I'm using my telestrator, all right?
All right. Now, I don't know if they had this where you grew up, Paul. Remember when we were kids, had something called Winky Dink, where you would put a screen over the TV and actually draw on the screen.
See that?
Yeah. We got to send you one.
I think that was a little before me.
You're not that much younger. I know you think you are, but you're not.
1,000 miles away, I can talk whatever I want. That's right.
Runner goes. Pitch inside. Throw to second. In there is Stanton with the stolen base. I guess his leg's feeling pretty good.
I'm wondering if he's on his own here. It's possible he was on his own and just took off.
Especially against a lefty, sometimes you just go on the first move and throws from his knees. We have seen a lot of controlled running from Stanton so far, but got there pretty quick.
And Voigt goes down on strikes.
See the spin on the slider back door as Voigt swings through it.
So here's Urshela. His home run now, the difference in the game, the 3-run shot in the 6th that made it 6-1. It's 6-3 now. Big cut. 0-1. Snap throw to second. No one was covering as Kingery makes the play.
Alvarez has been around a while. He had a nice run with the Angels for 5 years. See, he's getting backed up there. A couple of righties down there, De Los Santos and Kelly. Alvarez came into this game with a career 3.63 ERA, 351 games in the big leagues. But the rules change that we were talking about before probably going to impact him pretty greatly. You know, those years where he had 76 games pitched and only 63 innings, probably a thing of the past. Back in 2017 for the Angels, he appeared in 64 games, but only had 48 and 2/3 innings. So that 3-batter minimum rule will impact these relievers. But he can pitch a little bit. Slider, changeup, pretty good changeup to righties. I think that was a changeup he got Voigt on. He's always had a pretty good changeup.
swing and a miss, chase the ball out of the strike zone, and Alvarez puts up a 0. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left. We go to the 9th. Yankees up by 3.
Well, we got to go back to the 6th inning. And Gio's up with 2 men on. Gets a changeup right in the wheelhouse and launches it. His 3rd home run of the year. That one a 3-run shot. The Yankees are riding that to a 6-3 lead here with Britton in the game. The Land Rover drive of the game.
So in a game that the Yankees led 6-1, they have to go to their closer. Now, any day now they could be getting back Aroldis Chapman. He's been off the COVID-19 list, and he was asymptomatic and had been working out in his house, so it shouldn't be that long, but obviously Britton's done a great job. Scott Kingery will lead off. And a strike. Each team with 6 hits. Yankees have a 6-3 lead.
Such a luxury for Aaron Boone, because you know when your closer goes down, there are guys that have great stuff but they have problems closing. It's just a different situation, a different animal. But you know, Zach Britton, he's done it in the past. He was at the best in Baltimore, the best in the league at it, so there was really no question mark, can he step in while Chapman's gone.
Right back to Britton, sets, and fires a fastball as Voit reaches into the baseline and pulls it out for the first out. Dangerous play for a first baseman.
You see Luke Voit kind of laughing it off, but you know, Zach Britton has trouble throwing anything straight. So when he takes his time and then unleashes one, this ball probably has a lot of movement running up the line.
Phil Gosselin is going to pinch hit for Hazley. Now, as I mentioned, because tomorrow's rained out, this is considered a 1-game series. So if the Yankees win this game, they would improve to 22-0-3 in their last 25 home series. And the people at Stats have told us that would match the longest streak of home series without a loss in franchise history. In September of 1997 through August of 1998, you guys won 25 series in a row. And back in 1937, from April through September, also 25 home series without a loss.
37 Yankees had a pretty good lineup, Paulie.
Crowd getting loud.
I thought I was getting static in my earphones.
And he could not hold up, and the Phillies are down to their final out.
It's that Britton slider.
You kind of touched on it the other day. Yeah. Using that slider much more than he used to so far this year.
We've just seen his confidence in that pitch grow over the last year and a half.
So here's McCutchen. Phillies try to stay alive. 1-0. Two and 0 on McCutchen. Hoskins on deck. Three and 0. And there's Hoskins. They need to get two men on to bring up Harper as the tying run. There's a strike. Three and two. McCutchen taking all the way. And the pitch. Stays alive. Gerrit trying to nail it down. Right up the middle, caught there by LeMahieu, and the Yankees win 6-3. They win their 7th in a row. They're now 8-1, the best record in the majors, and they're 8-1 for the 3rd time in franchise history. They did that back in 1988 and 2003. Now, if you wonder what 8-1 in a 60-game season compares to an 162-game season, it would be as if they got off to a 22-3 start in a 162-game season. And so far, Paul, things are clicking the way they want. Gerrit Cole goes to 3-0, and the Yankees just keep putting wins on the board.
Yeah, they're playing great baseball. There's no doubt about it. Urshela's hot, Judge is hot, LeMahieu, and it can only get better because you got Sanchez, Torres, Voit that are going to get started. So, you know, there's just a great thing going on right now. You can tell how focused these guys are and how well they're playing.
Now, obviously, the Judge streak stops, but the bottom line, David, Cole battles through like he always does, goes to 3-0, and as I said to Paul, things are looking pretty good right now.
Well, they are. I mean, Gerrit Cole does what he's supposed to do, and that is no matter what kind of stuff you have, you're gonna go out there and give your team a chance to win. That's exactly what he did. Chad Green has looked especially sharp so far this year. I mean, he's throwing bullets. And Meredith Marakovich talked a lot about his newfangled curveball. That's looked good as well.
Well, the Yankees have survived 3 rain delays, a couple of postponements, and still they sit atop baseball with an 8-1 record for the 3rd time in their history. We have so much more to come. Come on back in the postgame.